Hey guys, you might know by now that I'm Russell. I'm the founder of Back Off, and I like guns. But I thought we'd just talk a little bit about guns in general, and some of my guns, some of the stories behind the guns, and maybe a little philosophy of guns. Of course, as you're gonna see, I've had guns since I was like 6 years old, 5 years old. And in the South, guns it's just a part of our culture. I mean, literally, when I used to go to high school, I would have a gun in the back window of the truck. And everybody had guns in the truck, and we never had any problems. And now, with the anti gun crowd and all the attacks on guns, which blows my mind really, how much uh, argument goes on over guns, and nobody seems to look at the history of guns, the history of gun culture of guns in America, because ultimately, uh, other than guns for sport, which is basically what I do, whether it be, and I don't want to call hunting a sport really, because when I hunt is to accomplish something, as in get meat, or guns for target shooting, or just having a good old time shooting guns. Um, you've got that whole culture, and then you've got this constitutional culture that people tend to they want to overlook looked at least the anti-gun crowd, and you have to say, well, why did the founders put that in? And it wasn't down at the bottom. It wasn't an afterthought. It was like, right up at the top. And it was because our country was founded on not trusting government. If you look at the whole Constitution, it's all about limiting government's power and being able to take power away from government if they get out of hand. Now, you can debate on whether they're out of hand now or not, which obviously they are. They intervene in every part of our life. We are not actually free citizens. In fact, I put a challenge out there on my little Facebook deal, and which was, name one thing that the government does not control in your life. And it's very, very hard to do that, to come up with anything that the government doesn't have their hand in. And so then you have to ask yourself, well, the Constitution guarantees us, even encourages us to have guns or weapons or arms, as the Constitution says. So with that said, we are encouraged by the Constitution to own guns for self-protection, but also, in cases needed, to limit government's power. So then, because the anti-gun crowd, or the left, or the commies, as I call them, they want to limit it down. Why would you ever need a black gun, an AR assault weapon, is what they call them? And so I got in this big debate, I guess you'd say, with a good friend on Facebook, who's turned commie, I guess. But over, well, I think they ought to ban all types of assault weapons and weapons with magazines and this and that, because you don't need that for hunting. Well, this has nothing to do with hunting. This has nothing to do with sport. This has to do with being armed equally to the bad guys. Okay, who are the bad guys? Well, obviously you got all these, bad civilians out there. But ultimately, in the constitutional aspect, it was the bad guys were the government. Okay. Sadly, we're not really able to be armed up to the Constitution. I mean, to the government right now, because they've got such superior weapons. But bottom line, in my personal opinion, whatever the government has, we should have equal to. Now, they've limited all that to, about all you can do now is the AR type stuff. When they got machine guns and rocket launchers and all this stuff, and I'm not trying to say, oh, we got to go to war and all this, because we would hopefully not. But I'm saying that is the purpose of a weapon. So then you go, well, why does the government want to get rid of it so bad? And it's not about safety and security. In fact, that's the method that government uses to take away liberty, is for safety and security. We've got to limit you here and limit you there. And we're right in the middle of this coronavirus. And, now people are talking about martial law and curfews and all, taking away and limited power. And thankfully, Trump's in office right now, because if the past president was in there, I'd be really, really worried. I'm not worried about Trump, even though I hope he doesn't get sucked into this stuff. So, with that said, we're going to be talking about guns from my perspective. I've given you my thoughts on the constitutionality of bearing arms. Now, let's go back to just having fun, and let's let me give you a little insight into the Southern gun culture that we were raised in, because we don't view guns as, they're not scary, because we know they're just a tool. They're only scary in the wrong hands, and used properly, they're not even dangerous. Used improperly or carelessly, very dangerous. And so there's always been something about shooting that speaks to me. Shooting a gun, shooting something. And we've talked about it before, but everybody just about likes shooting stuff, whether it's on a computer gaming program, they like shooting stuff there, or shooting a basketball or a bow and arrow or a slingshot or throwing a football. I mean, it's all the same. You're trying to hit something at distance with something. And so we just happen to choose guns, and it actually helps feed our families too. So, I'd like to hear your feedback. If you disagree, whatever, I don't care. Because this is about Southern gun culture. So this gun video stuff we're doing, I think we're going to put out a new video about some gun, something that I'm going to talk about first of every month. So just kind of look around for it, and give us your feedback, and send us gun pictures, send us you holding some back off in a gun, just whatever you'd like to do. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks.